On March 15, 2026, a high-tech security system in the heart of New York City captured something that was never supposed to exist. A figure appeared inside a residential building, caught on camera walking through solid concrete walls. The footage has been reviewed 1,000 times by security experts and skeptics alike, but to this day, no one can explain what they saw. In the high-stakes world of Manhattan real estate, there is a luxury high-rise known as Riverside Tower. It's a marvel of glass and steel, equipped with 24/7 elite security and state-of-the-art CCTV coverage. But behind the luxury facade, the tower has a reputation. Ever since it opened, the staff has whispered about the Lady in White. Residents complained of sudden cold spots in empty hallways, motion alarms triggering in locked rooms, and elevators stopping randomly at night on floor 6. Most of these reports were dismissed as technical glitches. Until that Tuesday night in March. A security officer named Daniel was on duty alone. Daniel wasn't the type to believe in ghost stories. He was a former military man who dealt in facts and evidence. The building was quiet. The city outside was draped in a heavy midnight fog, and everyone seemed routine. But as the clock struck 2:40 a.m., the atmosphere in the control room shifted. Daniel later reported that the air became so cold he could see his own breath. Then, at exactly 2:47 a.m., a motion alert pinged from the north corridor of the 6th floor. Daniel pulled up the feed on camera 14. At first, the hallway looked normal, just a long, dimly lit stretch of expensive carpet and closed doors. Then the screen began to flicker with digital artifacts. A strange, static noise hissed through the monitors. And then she appeared. Emerging from the shadows at the far end of the hallway was a woman in a tattered white dress. She didn't look like a person. She looked like a faded memory glowing with a pale, sickly light. Daniel's hand shook as he reached for the zoom. As the image sharpened, he realized her feet weren't touching the ground. She was gliding, unnaturally smooth. Without hesitating, she turned and walked directly into the wall of room 602, a unit that had been vacant and deadbolted for 3 years. Daniel immediately radioed for backup. "Intruder on 6! I need eyes on the north corridor now!" 2 armed guards reached the floor in under 60 seconds. They found nothing. No signs of forced entry, no footprints, and the air was dead silent. But they did notice one thing: the smell. A heavy, cloying scent of old lavender and burnt ozone filled the hallway. Back in the hub, the situation turned from strange to terrifying. Every single monitor in the building began to cycle through static. One by one, the screens went black. And then a message began to type itself across every display in a jagged white font. "I never left this place." The building's intercom system, which required a manual override from the desk, clicked on by itself. A soft, breathy female voice echoed through every floor of the tower.
"We have multiple breaches on
"You are watching me, but I have always been here." At that exact moment, motion alarms began screaming on every single floor simultaneously. The elevators lost power. The electronic locks on every door engaged, trapping the guards in the dark. Daniel tried to reboot the system, but the controls wouldn't respond. He looked up at the only camera that was still functioning, Camera ZO1, the feed for the security room itself. On the screen, Daniel saw himself sitting at the desk, and standing directly behind him, her translucent hand hovering just inches from his neck, was the woman in white. He slowly turned around, but the room was empty. When he looked back at the screen, she was staring directly into the camera lens. Then, the feed cut to black. The official report from the management labeled the incident as a sophisticated cyber attack and system malfunction. But the security team knows better. To this day, the guards at Riverside Tower refuse to work the night shift, especially on floor 6. They say if you stand in that hallway at 2:47 a.m., you can still hear the faint rustle of a silk dress and the feeling of cold eyes watching your every move. Would you stay a night at Riverside Tower, or is some footage better left unexamined? Let us know your theories in the comments. And remember, just because you can't see them doesn't mean they aren't watching you.